right, the political big three of the top political stories everyone's talking about. So let's get to it. The Kavanaugh confirmation battle amps up. The 2018 midterms just 29 days away. Which party stands to benefit the most? North Korea announces it will let international inspectors take a closer look at a key nuclear site, and a second summit is still on the table. And megastar Taylor Swift gets political for the first time ever. She slams Republican Marsha Blackburn, who's running for the Senate in Swift's home state of Tennessee. And Taylor Swift endorses the Democrat. Joining me now is GOP pollster Justin Wallen and Democratic strategist A. Scott Bolden. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
So I'd actually like to start with Taylor Swift because it's just so unusual for her to take a political stand on anything, right? So she slams Republican Marsha Blackburn, as I said, who's running for the Senate in Swift's home state of Tennessee. The singer says Blackburn has an appalling voting record on women's issues and gay rights. And as I said, Swift is endorsing Blackburn's opponent, Democrat Phil Bredesen, as well as Jim Cooper, a Democrat running for a House seat. Now, the National Republican Senate Committee has responded, and it says this of Taylor Swift. If you haven't heard, multi-millionaire pop star Taylor Swift came down from her ivory tower to tell hardworking Tennesseans to vote for Phil Bredesen. Justin, will any of this matter?
Well, I personally am a fan of anyone using their voice, however much they have it, to say what they feel, politically, whatever it might be. I'm a fan of that. I don't ridicule anyone by it. I think that's great. But what I think doesn't matter a heck of a lot. What voters think means everything, and this means nothing to voters. And the argument could be made that perhaps it'll galvanize younger voters, millennials. I don't think that argument holds a whole lot of water. In the past, celebrity endorsements, no matter how big and wonderful and beautiful they are, have not galvanized millennials to get up and get out and vote in a meaningful fashion. I think this is what we're going to see here.
You know, it is interesting.
It's kind of hard
No, before we get to that, I just want to bring up Kanye West, because on SNL over the weekend, they slammed Kanye West. And I don't think they're going to slam Taylor Swift. I just want to play what Adriana Grande's boyfriend, I always forget what his name, Pete Davidson, that's what it is, Pete Davidson. This is what he said about Kanye West and his MAGA hat on SNL Saturday.
Kanye was wearing a MAGA hat. That's what it's called. It's stupid. Yeah. And he started by saying people backstage tried to bully him into not wearing it. He wore it all week. Like, nobody told him not to wear it. Like, I wish I bullied you. I wish I would have suggested that, you know, it might upset some people, like your wife or every black person ever, you know?
So, Scott, you have Kanye West. He was chased from the stage, right, on SNL. And Taylor Swift, I don't think that's going to happen to her. Do you?
I know why you don't think that's going to happen, but I got to tell you, with SNL and the streak they're on and the material they're doing in the last 2 years, I think she's fair game. What I really like about her versus Kanye West is that her post was very thoughtful, and she said, this is who I'm voting for, these are the issues I'm concerned about and why I'm not voting for the other candidate, the Republican, and then she urged everyone to come out and vote. You may not agree with 100% of what that candidate stands for, but these are extraordinary times, and so extraordinary times call for extraordinary efforts, and so whether it's her or Kanye West, their celebrities are getting involved. How much impact they have, I don't know how you would ever measure that, if you will, but the important part is they're lending their voice to democracy and the voting process in a more meaningful way now, and I think that's what the takeaway from Taylor Swift. Look for other celebrities to do the same.
Okay, so Justin, just one more question. Kanye West, will he motivate African-American voters to vote for Trump in 2020?
No. No, I
agree. No. We can agree on that, Justin.
I don't think so. Yeah, we agree. I don't think so.
Okay, so we have all that out of the way. That's good. Okay, so Justin, a question about the midterms. You know, with all of this Kavanaugh, I just don't even know what to say. I do believe our country is more divided than ever. I do believe that his confirmation will have an impact on the midterms one way or the other. In your mind, what way will it go? Will it drive voters to vote Democrat or Republican?
Well, yeah, I agree with you that it has become increasingly polarized, and this issue certainly has added fuel to the fire. in terms of how it will impact the midterms, it'll impact the Senate in a positive way for Republicans, I believe, and it'll impact the House in a positive way for Democratic candidates. So at the end of the day, I still see the Senate staying Republican, the House going Democratic. I don't see a massive wave, a huge shift, but it's significant, whether it's 30 or a little bit more. But yeah, I think it's gonna. I think that's the way it'll pan out. And yeah,
because Scott, if you hear Democrats talk, the anger that women feel across the country will drive them to the polls, and Democrats will sweep both the House and the Senate. And do you believe that, really?
Well, I believe part of that, at least, or a substantial part of it. Listen, historically, what drives midterms are the president's popularity. He's below 40%, and voter anger. And the Democrats are angry about not just Kavanaugh and that he's on the Supreme Court, but how he got there, how Dr. Ford was treated, and that she spoke for the millions of young people and young women and men who have suffered in silence regarding sexual assault and sexual abuse. And that's not going away in 3 weeks. And so that's going to be a driving force that matches up with what we've seen in red states where Democrats have been competing and competing strong. 65% of this country doesn't like Donald Trump and doesn't like the direction he's taking it, and they're going to be heard on November 6th.
I will say, Justin, there are a lot of angry white men, too. And if you believe President Trump, there's a lot of angry women as well. President Trump came out and said the whole thing, the sexual allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, was just one big Democratic hoax meant to destroy a good man. And I'm sure the narrative will become even more pointed going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, there certainly is a gap in terms of enthusiasm for the president among white college-educated women, and that will present a problem for the GOP over time. But I think the passion that was there against Trump was at its height prior to Kavanaugh. I think we hear a lot more about it, but I think it had reached a peak, maybe goes up a little bit more, but I think the enthusiasm of Republican voters was at a worrying low. And now I believe that and yes, anger is definitely a motivating force. I feel that anger on the part of the Trump supporters has motivated those voters to get to the polls and vote, which I think was a very real concern prior to Kavanaugh's nomination. I think that is going to benefit Republicans.
Yes, but Justin, every time Trump tweets about women or this being a Democratic hoax, Democrats get fired up more and more. It's a fact. Republicans stay angry. They've got the White House, they've got the House, the Senate, they got tax cuts, they got Kavanaugh, and they're still angry. When I'm on Fox News, the heat I get on social media bringing the Democratic side to the argument is just so offensive it's not even funny, including the N-word sometimes. They stay angry, but no one can be angrier than Democratic women and independent women who are going to come out and vote because of what they've observed as how Dr. Ford was treated, but how women who suffer in silence have been treated. This is their moment. This is their time, and they're going to show up and show out, I think, on November 6th to send a message to get some balance to the House and Senate. I think they take both, and then be a buffer to Donald Trump and his nonsense.
We'll see. I got to end it there. Justin Wallen, A. Scott Bolden, thanks to both of you.